I mean, they're in the playoff race mathematically, right? And then you start to look at the teams around them, right? You know, the Bears are horrible. They were just at what, 5-1? They're garbage. You know, and then they just dispatched the Rams, who there was rumblings this week of the Rams being the best team in the NFC, right? Like, I literally just watched them toy with the Bucs on offense. Not just like decimate them, toy with them, run the same play over and over. The Bucs had no plan, none of that, right? Then you start to go through the NFC, right? Who's really tough in this NFC that is really like super scary? Green Bay, Seattle, Arizona.
The Niners should have beat New Orleans, who are currently the number 1 seed. I mean, they were like a couple of if they just caught the ball in special teams, they might have won that game. Or if they had Deebo Samuel, they might have won that game. So I don't know.
Here's what's crazy, right? We all applaud the 49ers defense this week, right? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up less yards against the Saints. They played a better game against the Saints statistically on defense.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then the Philly game looks worse now.
Yep.
You know, the Miami game we can kind of, whatever, because Miami's all right. Miami's not a bad team, but the Philly game that one hurts.
Tebow played and didn't get the ball very much. I understand he was just coming off an injury, but he was coming off an injury yesterday and he got 13 targets. The Niners weren't messing around. I mean, maybe that was the right call, not forcing it to Debo week 4, but it's hard to win without Debo. It's just, he is so important. My God.
Yeah.
Hard to win without him.
I'm sorry, Javi. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, you're fine. It's so frustrating.
The Giants are undefeated since Dante Pettis showed up too. Also, coincidence? No.
Inactive every time.
Yeah, but it's the effect he has on the locker room with that.
Right. It's intangible, Javi. It's bigger than that. It's intangible.
TikTok.
No, but honestly, look, I'm looking at the conference standings right now. The Niners are currently 10th, but they're tied with Minnesota and Chicago. Chicago's dead in the water. They may not win another game. I mean, Minnesota's solid. Arizona's fading. Tampa's fading. The Rams are 7-4, but they're not that great. Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans aren't going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that the Niners will make it to the playoffs, but I think they could absolutely.
Well, yeah. How I look at it is, Josh Allen cannot play on Mondays or Tuesdays. It's good on Sundays. And also, didn't something come down with his knee that he was wearing a full-on knee brace after the Chargers game there?
I don't know.
And I noticed during the game, I saw it somewhere on Twitter. He was wearing a full-on knee brace, but during the game, he was obviously playing without a knee brace. So that could limit his mobility playing against the 49ers. And I think something with that stadium may be serious with them just messing with somebody's ego. It happens. It starts with confidence as a pro athlete, whether it's baseball, football, or basketball. And then after that game, you got Washington. After that one, you get Dallas. So I think a 3-0 run is very realistic, and it just makes me feel bad for Zach Allen or bust.
Zach Allen.
Zach Wilson, my bad. Zach Wilson.
Because you go back to the Saints game, the Niners allowed a lot less yardage, and people were calling for Salah's head in that game. Like, what are you watching? Like, right. I'm so tired of Twitter. Sometimes it's just like, turn on the game and just watch without a biased eye, and just watch. Like, Robert Saleh has been doing this for the last 3 years he's been here, or the last 4 years he's been here. He's been doing a great job. As far as the Niners being alive in the playoffs, yeah, they're alive, but who's the quarterback? It's Nick Mullins. At the end of the day, it comes down to the quarterback. Like yesterday's game, it's 20-20, and I got a tweet, Javi, what's the percentage you give the Niners to win this game? I said 20%. And he was like, why? I said, the quarterback. Can the quarterback make enough plays to win this game? Mullins made enough plays. He threw a couple good passes. He threw that one good pass to Debo, and then the swing pass to Debo, and then they get into field goal range. So, yes, you have a chance there, but can he do that consistently when you need him to? The Buffalo Bills, they have a guy who can run the ball, a quarterback. So it's going to make it a little bit harder on this defense to maneuver. Now, I don't trust Josh Allen to throw the ball down the field that well. Or accurately, excuse me. That's his issue, his accuracy.
Right.
But I don't know if they can beat the Buffalo Bills this week with Nick Mullins at quarterback. Now, is Jimmy Garoppolo back this week? Maybe. But I think they can go 2-1 the next 3 games. I mean, I don't fear the Washington football team. and I don't fear the Dallas Cowboys. Plus, we're all Niner fans here except for Grant, and we don't like the Cowboys. So
Grant is
hold on real quick. Let's not write them off. Let's not just give the Bills the win just yet.
No,
I'm not.
Nick Mullins does not breed a lot of confidence right now.
Yeah,
right.
But he won. He did make enough plays. He did throw a pick. It wasn't his fault.
That wasn't his fault. No.
He's not a franchise quarterback.
Right.
But on this team with that play caller, I think the Niners can compete with him. And as long as they have Deebo Samuel, they're going to have Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, and Brandon Ayuk next week. I think they can win that game. I think they can really win it. And I think that if they do win it, they'll be 500. Yeah. And then with 2 winnable games coming up.
Right.
I would feel a little bit more comfortable saying the Niners win this game if George Kittle played against the Buffalo Bills.
Of course.
The run game is non-existent because you can't get those edges. Because Trent is not fast enough to get out there. Ross Dwelly, I'm sorry, you can't block, and neither can Charlie Warner.
He had
the one block.
But that sealed the game. That helped seal the game.
Okay. Relax, guys. One is relax, guys.
Hey, it was right there on the last drive though, so I think that's why we're kind of
it was big.
That was big.
Rewatching the game.
I don't think Donald expected it. He was like, "Oh,
no,
wow, Ross."